not only there, but, you know, I understood last week where they had it all the way across the street, but this today, they only did half the street. So one lane, the northbound is open. Okay, it hasn't been, I mean, it's been cut, but it hasn't been removed and replaced. They replaced most of the ones on the west side of the street. Also, there's a street behind the school that the buses use to come in and out of school. You can go around the school and come out on Z Highway when there's no kids, no kids around, no school buses running or anything like that. That street has been blocked off. The school, supposedly the school requested it. Okay? Now, is the school running our street closures and our entrance and exit from the school? The chief and I had a discussion last week about the right turn only during this construction period. They still have flagmen out there stopping traffic northbound on Main so that people can get out and turn left and go north, when it would be very simple from all to go south. Right turn only, that's what we agreed on. The chief agreed with us. Ed, remember? He said, well, there's no traffic backup. I walk out in the middle of the street, the first person in line that had been stopped, Alderman Young. They had stopped him from coming north on Main Street so they could let the parents who pick up their children after school get out. We need to make it inconvenient on the parents who choose to drop off and pick up their children. And the more inconvenient you make it for them, the more likely the children will ride the school bus and get to school on time. The principal said so herself. You know, we'd love to have them ride the school bus. But every morning, every afternoon, it's the same thing, and the police department will do nothing about it except open the door. Come on in, kid, come on in. That's not his job. They have a safety officer over there. But our chief is standing over there in the morning, opening car doors, letting kids out of their car. If he's going to be there, he needs to be directing traffic or doing something. That's all I got to say.
Okay.
Police department runs their own business.
Well, right at the moment, Dan, they can't turn left presently, so they can only turn
No,
right.
because I can't turn left out of my driveway because they got a barricade up both ways.
Okay, well, in the morning, we'll talk to them about it for the rest of the week, but.
Well, it should be a done deal. We agreed in this meeting that they would turn right. They wouldn't stop traffic on northbound Main Street to let parents turn left. But they do, you know. So they haven't done, basically what I'm saying is they've not lived up to their end of the bargain.
I understand that. Okay. Sam?
Just real quick, I really like the workshops that the board does. I think that gives us a chance to kind of sort things out rather than being confined with all the other city business we have here in the regular meeting. So I really like those. Starting with the issue of these taxes, on real estate and personal property, they go up every year. When you get into the business of continuing to raise taxes, and then everyone scratches their head and wonders why we don't have any new revenue, or businesses licensed, people don't come running in here for a business license, we have to start and wonder why that is. A lot of the fees and taxes being the utility tax. I'll just give you just one example of how this affects the community as a whole when taxes continue to go up. What I call the Fall Festival is Pevely Days or whatever they call it now. The businesses stopped funding that. That was basically funded by the businesses and volunteers. So when you hit them with the merchant's tax, which they came to an agreement with the city, was okay. But 30 days later, you hit them with the utility tax. Okay, and we can talk about previous board or whoever did this or whoever did that. We're here now to solve those problems. And that's what we have to sort out. You can't continue to put taxes and fees on an upward trajectory and then wonder why we don't have new revenue. It's that if new revenue comes here, great, we'll figure that out. But you cannot continue to put new taxes on the citizens or the businesses. You're going to drive them out, and you're going to lose businesses faster. I know for a fact, and I'll have the city administrator talk with a couple businesses that came in here when they were hit with that merchants tax the first time go around. It's just not practical nor reasonable to continue to do that. Now, to my understanding, you'll have to double check it. If it's not raised tonight, then it goes back to the voter in 2 years. That's what I hear. And if that's the case, and I think it needs to go back to the voter, and then the voter can decide. I mean, revenue, the city brought in more revenue last year than any point because it was increased taxes on us. It was increased utility tax, increased fees on water and sewer, and you keep doing that, then you're going to lose business faster than they're going to want to come in here. You just have to ask yourself, why isn't there usually consistently, you would think, businesses come in here at least a meeting or every other meeting for a business license? And, that's it. Pevely City Hall was one way that we can get a city hall. We'll get a city hall by taxing, okay? So we go with a certain rate on sales tax, and we find out that that wasn't enough. So they come back with utility tax, and that's still not, we're still in a negative on the city hall. So raising taxes is never a continued solution to the problem. You just have to get to a point where you have to cut spending at some point. That's the way it works. We're a fourth-class city, we're a small city, we give you revenue, great. If we don't, we have to find ways to live within our means. That's it. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. City clerk position update.
The announcement has closed. We have received the numerous applications. We'll start going through those this week. I'd like to give you a time frame of how long it's going to take us to do that, but that depending on the number of people we interview, how we can get them scheduled, that sort of thing. But the process has started, and we do have the applicants, and there's a small group of us that will be looking at those starting this week, trying to get interviews scheduled and move forward with that. And I'll update you as I can. As I have something that's worth updating, I'll let you know.
Okay. Permit to solicit the Mississippi River Eagles. They're wanting to set up roadblocks in front of McDonald's and Burger King on Highway Z. The date is October the 11th, and it's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Have a motion to approve it?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, I'll second it. Have a motion by Alderman McKinnon, second by Alderman Walters.
Alderman Pevely?
Yes.
Han?
Yes.
Purley?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
McKinnon?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Okay, the T1 line for data. The old contract, we were paying $572.33 a month. The new contract, we're going to be paying $1,603.24 a month. The old contract was started back June of 2010, and so now with we're putting new line in for the new system. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. The data line we have right now was originally for just basically telephone and some computer systems. Since that time, they've progressed. We also have a new software system we're getting ready to implement, which requires more data or bandwidth. The police department is requiring more bandwidth also. I know it's a big difference in price, but it's not the same type of service that we originally had at 500. This service is upgraded. It will support our systems we have now and provide us an efficient means to run our systems we have now. And that's the difference in price. I know it sounds like a lot. We did check with Charter. They were even higher. Got one question I have to answer for, down here is that they asked if this would be just an extension of the current contract or a new contract. It is a new contract, so it would run for 1 year period of time. But it's important we get this data line so we can continue to have the service and connectivity we need for these systems we have now.
Any other questions? How about a motion then? Gotta have it.
I'll motion for the T1 increase.
Okay, I have a motion by Alderman Young, second by Alderman Pevely.
Alderman Young,
Yes.
Cannon,
Yes.
Walters,
Yes.
Farley,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Bailey.
Yes.
Okay, we have a requisition for a new submersible pump for the Tierra lift station for $11,111. We discussed this last week at the workshop. It's a necessity. We have 3 bids. This is the best one. Got a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion by Alderman Bewig, second by Alderman Young.
Alderman Bailey,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Farley,
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Cannon,
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Kendall.
Yes.
Thank you for hearing me today. I've been trying to join the city of Pevely since December of 1913. Prior to that, when Pevely ran their sewer system from west of me, they came by and asked for permission to cut my road, run the line over. And I said, sure, that would be fine. I said, I will come down and show you where my sewer line runs into my lagoon. So they very gingerly scooped it out. My line was here. And I said, are you guys gonna put your line under mine or over it, or how are you gonna work this out? We'll take care of it, and they laughed at me. Now, I didn't say, do it, cut it, whatever. Well, in the morning, when I got back up and got down there, my line to my lagoon was cut, and I was hooked into the city sewer system. And I thought that was an okay thing. I had talked to some people from the DNR, and they said, we really need to get on a sewer system when they put one in. And so I said, if they get one in, yes. The neighbors across the yard have been on a lagoon system. They wouldn't let people come through their yard. They had to go around it. And my bill was $30-something a month. And I thought, that's reasonable, that's great. Well, when people doubled the rates from 15 to 30 in town, they doubled mine from 30 to 70. And that wasn't okay. So I came up and paid my bill and went back and talked to Terry about coming into the city. I signed papers, I paid my bill, and he said, we will call you when we need something. My wife passed 17th of January. I had no calls, had my phone in my pocket the whole time. No one came by or talked to me or anything. And in February, I had to get out of Dodge. I mean, I wanted out of that house and away from my problem, which was nobody's problem here. And I told my son, we stayed in contact by cell phone. I had my cell phone in my pocket the whole time I was in Florida, expecting a call, and my son would have done whatever I needed him to do to take care of the situation. Well, when I came home from Florida, I came up here and we talked again. And I was told that I needed to re-sign up to come into the city. So we went in and they scratched out the sound out in December, and we signed on again. And a fine young man came by and said, Jim, I need you to go to Hillsborough and get some papers that we need to file, or we need to put up a sign in front of your house about the annexation. So I went to Hillsborough the next day, got what they needed, delivered them to them. They put a sign in my yard. And I came to a meeting on June the 3rd. And they talked about it. And I went home, waiting for them to let me know what I needed to do, how I needed to do it. And again, we didn't hear much. In fact, nothing. So the man told me he needed his little sign back. So I, one day, picked his sign up and brought it back up here and said, how much, I don't feel like I need to pay that $70 or whatever it is a month for those months that I should have been in the city. And I called up here and they said, yes, everything is taken care of, Jim. Well, then I really did come up with my money to see you. And this thing has now been, I needed to come back tonight because something was wrong with my stuff from Hillsborough, which I had no control over. I went out there and got what they told me to get, and for some ungodly reason it was wrong. And this has just been a comedy of errors, not blaming anyone or doing anything along those lines, but I would like to, for the council to consider maybe charging me the $70 for January and February. It could have taken 2 months very easily. But let me get by with the 30-something a month for the rest of the time. Because for 3 of those months, I wasn't even here, which doesn't make any difference, you know. So that is my request, that you consider that for me at this time. And I will write you a check then. But the man, when I talked to him about coming in, I had made my water or my sewer payment in December under protest. And I don't think anybody ever did anything about that or talked about it, I'm sure. And Jerry told me not to pay it until we got it straightened out. So you're right. Thank you.
Yep. So how do we come up with $430.44?
When Mr. Kendall came in and talked to me about it, and he kind of got me up to speed on what was going on with this issue, I went to sue the building utility supervisor and asked her to calculate what his bill would be starting March 1st, coming forward, at the resident, in-town resident rate. And she did that. That's how this dollar figure came up of $430.44. Now, this dollar figure is probably another month, about another month that'll probably be associated with this bill. But with that said, we're probably talking about perhaps $460 or $470. That's if you make the adjustment. And his paperwork, and Tim and I have been working on his paperwork, getting it right, getting the description right, and other things. There's a couple of legal documents we need, but his paperwork is real close to being proper now. So that's where we're at now.
Okay? What's the board want to do?
I make a motion that we accept that payment.
$430.44?
Right.
Okay?
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? Marlon?
What sort of, if we do this, are we setting a precedence that's going to affect future, incidents like this?
Let's hope we don't have future incidents like this.
Yeah. And does this have any bearing on the housing project?
I don't think so. This is on the other side of the highways.
Yeah.
He's on the south side.
No, the board has the authority to make utility bill adjustment, especially under these circumstances, if they so like to do so.
Okay, I have a motion by Alderman Bewig, second by Alderman Young.
Alderman Young,
Yes.
Kennan,
Yes.
Walters,
Yes.
Hurley,
Yes.
Han,
Yes.
Bewick.
Yes.
Okay? You agree with this, Mr. Kendall, then?
That's the 430 you said, or what?
Right, $430.44.
Well, he said there might be a month more on that.
Okay, that's fine. Will it be at the $75 rate or the
Well,
$30?
I would think probably at the reduced rate, being we just started this, I would think.
Okay, thank you.
You were cursed by a gypsy over there, I think.
Okay.
Who's, I have one more question. Whose area am I gonna be in when I come into town?
I really couldn't.
Okay, that's cool. I just wondered who to put on my list.
Okay, McDonald's business license?
Is there somebody here?
Yes.
Okay. Basically, we have new owners.
Hello.
She's here.
Mike, give your name, please.
Yeah, my name is Steve Short.
Okay.
What else you need to know? I'm good at picking hamburgers.
For those who may not be aware of, the McDonald's on the west side of the interstate has new ownership, this gentleman right here. And they have filed for a license, business license. At this time, all their paperwork is correct. All the fees have been paid. Just a matter of issuing the business license.
Okay.
I'll make the motion that we accept it. We'll give it down.
I have a motion by Alderman Young, second by Alderman Hurley.
Alderman Bewick,
Yes.
Han,
Yes.
Hurley,
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Kennan,
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
No begging or anything?
No, I think you already did that,
We're
right?
just,
I want a Happy Meal, please.
I do want to say we're very happy to be here. My daughters are visiting me. I have 2 daughters and a son-in-law. And I don't know how many of you, Jerry and Terry, that were here for 20 years, but I've chased them for 5 years trying to get them out of here. So Jerry, you're an old man. You need to retire and go have fun. So we're very happy to be here. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to Pevely.
P-Bill.
The fee bills aren't as pretty as they have been in the past. It's a nice spreadsheet, but kind of just a report from Summit. We're in the process of changing software starting this week. So as we roll out that new software, our P-bill will change a little bit, and it'll include more information than they're looking at out there right now. But this is what we have paid these last few weeks. It's accurate, it's right out of the database. There's no voting or anything on it that I'm aware of that may be, but as time goes on, we're going to change our format a little bit on the P-bills. It's going to have little descriptions in it, where it went to, what utility it went to, what account code it went to, and that new software allows us to do that. Like I say, when you look at this one, it's kind of simple, kind of plain looking. There's a time issue, I got to apologize for that. But it was something we can get through quickly for you, and that's what we did.
Read this one, right? So we're not gonna vote on this, right? Okay. Okay. I need a motion to read ordinance 1357, the tax bill. And what rate we're going to charge. Hopefully the 2014 rate. 0.8982.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion by Alderman Bewig, second by Alderman Hurley to put bill number 1357 on its first reading.
Alderman Young,
We're gonna go up on the rate, is that what we're saying? Or
No,
we
we're
keep-
gonna just
We're going to read it right now.
Okay, read it. Yes.
Hennan,
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Hurley. Yes. Vaughn.
Yes.
Beelig.
Yes.
Bill number 1357, an ordinance fixing the annual rate of levy for the year 2014 in the city of Pevely, Missouri, when payable and to whom paid. Section 1, in accordance with the provisions of the state statutes, particularly section 94-210, it is determined that the annual rate of the levy to be set in the sum of 0.8982 per $100 assessed valuation in order to provide sufficient revenue for the operation of the city government and general city purposes for the ensuing year. Section 2, for the year 2014, that there is hereby levied a tax on all property within the limits of the city of Pevely of 0.8982 per $100 assessed valuation for city purposes. Section 3, the city clerk of the city of Pevely, Missouri, shall make out appropriate and accurate tax books for assessment books prepared by the Jefferson County Assessor on all property within the city, subject to taxation by the state of Missouri, and shall, on or before the 1st of October 2014, transmit same to Jefferson County Collector, and shall charge the collector with the full amount of taxes levied and to be collected. Section 4, the collector for the Jefferson County shall collect all taxes according to the books prepared and delivered to them by the city clerk, and shall pay the same to Jefferson County Collector and to the county's treasury each week. They shall also report to the city clerk's office so he or she can report to the Board of Aldermen at the regular meeting held each month on all taxes collected and paid over. Section 5, taxes shall be delinquent on the first day of January 2015, and collection thereof shall be made in the manner provided by the state law and the collector of Jefferson County, Missouri. I need a motion as read on its first reading.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion by Alderman Bewig, second by?
I'll second it.
Okay. Second by Alderman Hurley.
Alderman Beelig.
It's the second reading, right?
This is the first reading.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Hurley.
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Hennan.
Yes.
Young.
Yeah.
Okay, I need a motion to put bill number 1357 on its second and final reading.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion by Alderman Bewick, second by Alderman Kinnon.
Alderman Young,
Are we saying we're raising the rate here?
No,
This is the second reading.
Okay.
Next time is. when we
Okay,
vote.
yes.
Kinnon,
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Hurley. Yes. Han.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bill number 1357, an ordinance fixing the annual rate of the levy for the year 2014 in the city of Pevely, Missouri, when payable and to whom paid. Section 1, in accordance with the provisions of the state statutes, particularly Section 94.210, it is determined that the annual rate of the levy be set in the sum of 0.8982 per $100 assessed valuation in order to provide sufficient revenue for the operation of the city government and general city purposes for the ensuing year. Section 2, for the year 2014, there is hereby levied a tax on all property within the city limits of City of Pevely of 0.8982 per $100 assessed valuation for city purposes. Section 3, the city clerk of the City of Pevely, Missouri shall make out appropriate and accurate tax books for assessment books prepared by the Jefferson County Assessor on all property within the city subject to taxation by the state of Missouri, and shall, on or before the 1st of October 2014, transmit same to the Jefferson County Collector, and shall charge the collector with the full amount of taxes levied and to be collected. Section 4, the collector for Jefferson County shall collect all taxes according to the books prepared and delivered to them by the city clerk, and shall pay the same to Jefferson County Collector and to the county's treasurer each week. They shall also report to the city clerk's office, so he or she can report to the Board of Aldermen at the regular meeting held each month on all taxes collected and paid over. Section 5, taxes shall be delinquent on the first day of January 2015, and collection thereof shall be made in the manner provided by the state law and the collector of Jefferson County, Missouri. I need a motion to approve as read on its second and final reading.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion by Alderman Bewick. Second by? I'll second.
Alderman Young,
Now, are we voting yes or no?
And he was all along, yes.
I'm a no.
Alderman Kinnon,
No.
Alderman Walters,
Yes.
Hurley.
No.
Han.
No.
Bewick.
No.
What?
Okay. So what rate do you want to go with?
Obviously, it's 2013. And the reason I voted no is because I went out and spoke to the people like everybody wants everybody to do in this city. So I'm here to represent the people that I read in my ward and they voted for me. This is what they wanted. And if they find out that we go in 2 years and it goes to the ballot, that's fine. That's their choice. That's what they run this city. They're the owners of this city. Another good thing to look at is hopefully we'll have some revenue coming in here and we can get Z Highway taken care of, so we've got some cash flow coming in. Maybe we don't need to raise. Maybe it'll even drop in 2 years. We don't know. But at this point, as far as I'm concerned, my constituents are concerned, and you can smile out there, that's great. Hi. The situation is, we have to live within our means. So, you know, we're surviving right now on the money we have. Maybe this will give the city the audacity to control its spending. Maybe we can get a grip on this thing. Other than that, I don't know. I mean, you go to Ward 3 and talk to all the people you want. I understand that there's petitions going around. I don't know what the purpose is, and it doesn't really matter. I know, okay, thank you, Mayor. You're fine. Appreciate it.
Any other comments?
voted no.
Here we go. Mr.
I
Warren,
voted no
yes,
because I don't want to stick to the citizens again. We just did this, and it hurt me to do it the last time. And I surely am not going to do it this time.
Okay,
And that's exactly how I feel.
okay. Go ahead.
Just one bit of information for everybody. The city can, without a vote of the public, go back within 2 years and petition the state to reinstate 2014's rates. That can be done before the 2 years are over. Just so you know that, so the council knows.
Okay, so you're wanting to keep the 2013 tax rate of 0.8812?
Well, that's what we did.
Okay,
Would you get upset if I lowered it?
okay, I need a motion to put bill number 1357 on a first reading for the tax rate of 0.8812.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Let's just twice. The first one failed, just make a note of it and say what the
Okay.
tax rate is.
This will be on its second final reading by the amount of,
Alderman Pevely,
Yes.
Han,
Yeah.
Hurley.
Yes.
Walters.
yes.
Hennon.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Okay, this will be the second final reading. Bill number 1357, an ordinance fixing the annual rate of the levy for the year 2014 in the city of Pevely, Missouri, when payable and to whom paid. Section 1, in accordance with the provisions of the state statutes, particular Section 94.210, it is determined that the annual rate of levy be set in the sum of 0.8812 per $100 assessed valuation in order to provide sufficient revenue for the operation of the city government and general city purposes for the ensuing year. Section 2, for the year of 2014, there is hereby levied a tax on all property within the city limits of the city of Pevely of 0.8812 per $100 assessed valuation for city purposes. Section 3, the city clerk of the city of Pevely, Missouri shall make out appropriate and accurate tax books or assessment books prepared by the Jefferson County Assessor on all property within the city subject to taxation by the state of Missouri, and shall on or before the 1st of October 2014 transmit same to Jefferson County Collector, and shall charge the collector with the full amount of taxes levied and to be collected. Section 4, the collector for Jefferson County shall collect all taxes according to the books prepared and delivered to them by the city clerk, and shall pay the same to Jefferson County Collector and to the county's treasurer each week. They shall also report to the city clerk's office, so he or she can report to the Board of Aldermen at the regular meeting held each month on all taxes collected and paid over. Section 5, taxes shall be delinquent on the first day of January 2015, and collection thereof shall be made in the manner provided by the state law and the collector of Jefferson County, Missouri. The motion is read.
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion by Alderman Young, second by Alderman Bewick.
Alderman Young.
Yes.
Hennon.
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Hurley.
Yes.
Han.
Yes.
Pevely.
Yes.
Okay. Ordinance 1358, the assault agreement. Need a motion to put it on its first reading by caption only.
I'll make that motion.
Have- I have a Motion made by Alderman Young, second by
I'll second it.
Alderman Hurley.
Alderman Belew,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Hurley.
Yes.
Walters,
Yes.
Cannon,
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Bill number 1358, an ordinance of the Board of Aldermen of the City of Pevely, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to enter into and execute a contract with Cargill Incorporated for the purpose of approximately 400 tons of road salt and incorporating said proposed contract as part of this ordinance. Need a motion? Approved. First reading.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Do we have to buy, I know we're not gonna buy the 400 tons all at one time, but do we have to buy over the course of the winter the whole 400 tons if we?
No, the answer is no, we do not. And they also do not guarantee us they'll sell us 400 tons. Such a shortage nowadays, but the plan is, we're gonna buy as much as we can to fill our bin as full as we can get it, and that's what we're gonna buy right away, so we have it on hand.
Okay, I have a,
Where was I in the motion?
I need a motion to accept it as read on its first reading.
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
I have a second.
I'll second.
I have a motion made by Alderman Young, second by Alderman Belew.
Alderman Belew,
Yes.
Vaughn,
Yes.
Hurley.
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Cannon.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
I need a motion to put bill number 1358 on a second and final reading by caption only. I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Alderman Walters, second by Alderman Hurley.
Alderman Young,
Yes.
Cannon,
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Hurley.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Belew.
Yes.
Bill number 1358, an ordinance of the Board of Aldermen of the City of Pevely, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to enter into and execute a contract with Cargill Incorporated for the purpose of approximately 400 tons of road salt and incorporating said proposed contract as part of this ordinance. Need a motion? Accepted, read on its second and final reading.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion by Alderman Young, second by
Second.
Alderman Kennan.
Alderman Young,
Yes.
Cannon,
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Hurley.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Belew.
Yes.
Z Highway Sewer Line.
The Z Highway sewer line, we talked about at the workshop, and the only thing I'm asking the board to do tonight is just to give me the authority to go out and talk to the residents, talk to them. There is plans later on to have a public hearing, so we're gonna do that. But right now, we're just gonna go out, talk to folks, who's interested, who's not interested, kind of get a scope of where we're at right now on that project. How many citizens would like to connect to the sewer line, so on and so forth. And that's all we're asking them to do, nothing more than that.
I make a motion that we.
Okay, wait just a moment. Go ahead, Mr. Kennan.
You know, there's so much bad information going around about the sewer system. You know, some people were saying, well, you have to get water from the city, you have to take their trash service, you have to take their toilet paper orders. That the people out there don't realize what they're facing by not willingly coming into. For years, Pevely wanted to annex that area, and they had nothing to offer. They didn't have city parks, they didn't have sidewalks, they didn't have anything that I'd want to pay taxes for to be in the city of Pevely. And it's sad because I think you guys have something to offer those people, their homes, their, you know, if they get hung up on facing not being able to use their septic system or their lagoon or whatever they got, they have to know that it won't be good for the area, for the resale of the houses. Right in that little area that I live, and I probably haven't helped it a whole lot, But the property values have declined probably $15,000 to $20,000 per unit because of the way the area has gone. And it's sad because it is a nice area.
Okay.
Sorry about the interruption.
Okay. Any other questions? Can I get a motion to give Mr. Brown the authority to start the process? I have a motion by Alderman Hahn, second by Alderman Kinnon.
Alderman Bewick?
Yes.
Han?
Yes.
Harley?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
Kinnon?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. The Voice Pro contract.
This is a simple renewal of a contract already, just for the voicemail. Sorry about that. It's just a renewal of a contract we already have in place. It's the voice software we have, voicemail software we have for City Hall and the police department. It's just an annual renewal. Nothing's changed in the contract.
It's $4,200, and that's for a year?
Yes.
Okay. I need a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion by Alderman Young, second by
I'll second.
Alderman Kinnon.
Alderman Young?
Yes.
Kinnon?
Yes.
Walters?
Yes.
Hurley?
Yes.
Han?
Yes.
Bewick?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Greg? This is for the budget ending
August 31st.
August 31st.
You guys should have that handed out to you today.
One quick point, what we're going to do is I'm going to ask one of the staff members to scan this document that he's getting ready to present to the group. We'll put it on our website. I don't know how easy or simple that is. I'll find that out tomorrow.
If you guys flip to the page that starts with your 8 months ended August 31st, 2014 budget summary, budget basis, you'll see under the general fund revenues at $2,214,000. That 66% of the revenue has come in so far. We're 2/3 through the year, so that's right on target. If you look under expenditures, we have $1,931,268 in the general fund, so our revenue over expenditures of $282,816. You see we budgeted a loss for the year of $18,470, so it's a positive variance of $301,286. Of course, we're going to go down in some of the future months just to the fact that we collected all that property tax, collected some property taxes early on in the year. I want you to look at the different departments there. They're all running below budget except for administration, but there's two main expenses there that cause that variance. One is the accounting piece of the software we purchased. It was $40,000. The utility billing piece we haven't purchased that yet. And also the legal cost and administration. They're running about $60,000 over what the annual budget is. I think there's about over $100,000 in legal fees there. So that's why administration is showing 84% of their budget spent already. If you go down to motor fuel tax fund, you can see the revenue is $135,641. We've had no expenditures this year. County road improvement, $176,660. We've had engineering costs of $33,790, so our revenue over expenditures of $142,870. This is the money that's going to be used to pay for the Main Street project. Is that correct? No. Yes. The county tax. Yes. The 911 fund, you're showing $19,879 in revenue. Expenditures are $25,719. So revenue under expenditures by $5,840. You go to the next page, or I don't know, he did those on both sides for you. The transportation sales tax fund, the city portion, $185,265 in revenue, expenditures of $77,146. So we have revenue over expenditures of $108,119. In the NID fund, you'll see that we have revenue of $389,135, expenditures of $402,358, so revenue under expenditures of $13,223. In August is when we received the settlement with Concord Bank, so that blew that number up some, that revenue number. Also, you can see where that was budgeted even, but there's an interest payment missed in that budget. So actually the budget, when we amend it, will show that we're going to be, well, I'm not sure with the Concord Bank thing, but if we would just been normal, we would have had a loss budgeted this year of about $99,000. And we started in the month, I guess tomorrow, our first ACH to build back the debt service reserve, and the NID is going to come out of our operating account, and that amounts about $10,000 a month. It'll come out through August of next year. But then we'll have to make a point when we're looking at the coming budget on how we're going, we're probably going to have to budget a transfer from the general fund over there to make that payment that's going to come due in March, unless they let us dig into the reserves again. The City Hall Fund, $183,888. Expenditures of $272,842. You can see we're already overspent in our expenditures. That's because all of the debt payments have been made year to date. So we pretty much have covered everything there for the year, but we still have 4 more months of revenue to come in. Utility Fund, Water Department, revenue $645,438, expenditures $490,471. So revenue over expenditures of $154,967. Utility Fund, Sewer Department, $886,364 in revenue, $348,000 in expenses. So revenue over expenditures of $538,343. You can see where expenditures are only at 29.31%, and that's because of the big debt payment that we'll make later on this year of $250,000. If you flip 2 more pages back, your cash balances, I'll just go over some of these briefly. In the general fund, you're at $836,326. Transportation sales tax fund, $621,879. The city hall fund, $133,272. In the utility fund, between water and wastewater, you're sitting there with water and sewer, you're sitting there with $3,551,564. Your total operating account balances are $5,452,555, which is about $140,000 greater than what it was last month. You flip to the next page, you can see where the NID reserve, the NID debt service account is $472,383, but $94,000 of that will be coming out in September, so it's going to go back down a little bit. Your City Hall debt service accounts are $358,314. Your sewer debt service accounts are $55,000. So your total debt service account balances are $885,707. Total operating debt service accounts are $6,338,262. Any questions? Okay. Just a couple more things I'd like to talk about. October 1, Wednesday, we go live with our new accounting system, the accounts payable, report writer, and our cash receipts module. Have my fingers crossed on that. We have a lot of work to do tomorrow. The auditors for 2013, Vandeven, now have room in their schedule. They're coming Thursday and Friday of this week. I have all the documents to them, except a couple that I'll get to them. They're going to do planning, and hopefully they have all the documents. They can do a lot of field work back in their office. So when they come back again, they'll only come for a couple more days, maybe 2 or 3, and then they'll be done. I'll have to get them a financial statement for 2013 based on how the audit gets done. And so hopefully my goal is that by the end of October, your first meeting in November, you definitely will have that audit report. But we've had a lot of stuff happening right now, so, and they tried to fit it into their schedule as best they could. The budget, Vicki and I have talked a few times. I have a template that I have used for other cities that we think is a good model to use here. I almost have it done. I have we're gonna have 2012, 2013, estimated 2014, and then we'll be dropping our 2015 budget numbers. He's also working on a capital plan. He's gonna be meeting with the department heads and to work on a capital plan. That's gonna be part of your budget, and also the debt service piece of that too. I'm trying to think if there's anything else going on right now. I think that's about it. Thank
Anybody have
you.
any questions for him? Okay, thank you. Any tax bill? Alderman Kennan?
Nothing.
I don't have anything right now. Well, yes, I do. Alderman Pevely and Alderman Kennan are going to meet with Mr. Brown and Tom on the city clerk applications on Wednesday. Okay. Alderman Young?
Yes, I'm through with the caboose.
Looks fantastic.
I went and had to repaint a lot of the yellow, what they call safety rail. It's a safety yellow color, and it's on the rails. I had to repaint all of it today because kids climbed all over that thing this weekend and had yellow paint on their shoes, which they wiped on the red, and they're not staying off the caboose. We may have to do like Festus did and put a 10-foot fence, 10-foot chain link fence with concertina wire on the top to keep them out. That's what they did in Festus. I can't believe that they just have no respect for it at all. And I'm still waiting on an emblem that says City of Pevely to go right in the middle of it. And I've got to contact a fellow in our church that can get me an emblem that'll say Union Pacific on it as well. And that'll be up high where they can't reach it. But other than that, it's done. But how long it's going to stay like it is, I have no guarantees. We could use some mulch though, regular old Pevely mulch that we grind up, put around the bottom of it.
Okay. Thank you. Great job.
Yeah,
Alderman Hurley?
I just want to say you did a great job on it. He has pictures too, if anybody wants to see them.
I have before and after pictures.
Okay. Alderman Hunt?
Same thing, good job on that caboose, and good job on that fence. And whoever else got there. No,
Alderman Bewick?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank the people who came down there and helped with the cleanup originally, and to get that fence back up for her. And I'd also like to say thank you to Mr. Minkus's wife for picking up trash in the city. I'm gonna try and put arrows up together to go up maybe different streets. But I want to get that out there. She does a lot of picking up around the city, and I appreciate that. That's all I have.
Okay, Darrell Cameron?
Well, I started out, I wanted to speak about my situation with the highway, but since we are going to go through a little bit more staging where everything can get answered, I'll just bypass that. But when you mentioned that you can't believe that the kids won't stay off this stuff, I worked at Fox School, and even the administrators threw food.
Oh.
So if you want to know what's wrong with our children, we got to look a lot further.
Thank you. Ms. Haas?
Nobody else wants to speak? Are there slots open?
There's 3 of them. Go ahead.
Do I need to come up or sure everybody can hear me?
That's fine. I don't care.
This back to the tax thing. Mr. Brown, since they didn't raise it, doesn't it mean that we're going to have less revenue coming in now because of that? Because I know with personal property tax, every year personal property tax is rolled back, and you keep it the same amount of money, we're going to be bringing less money in now. And I think that it is to keep the status quo. That's what the school district does. They raised theirs 17 cents last year because of Doe Run and other circumstances. But that was a big mistake when I passed this. We're going to bring in less money now than we did last year. Is that true?
And the response is yes, we will bring in less revenues. The mill increase calculated in inflation, that's how the state calculated. Those other things they probably included inflation, which we will not capture now. And there will be reduced revenues in property tax and real estate tax.
Do you have any idea approximately how much less? If you had to guess.
I can't calculate it real refined because of the way it's, but probably around numbers I figured today were about 17,000 in direct losses. And what that means, what I mean by direct losses is that those are revenues we will not collect, and then as inflation increases, those additional costs will come out of general fund then. So there'll be some other costs on the backside also.
So actually, the citizens they did roll it back this year by not passing it. It was rolled back by the board not passing it.
Well, I don't know if I said roll back, but I'm just saying there's going to be some direct revenues not collected and additional costs that may be incurred by the city.
Thank you.
Okay.
I had a few things that I wanted to talk about, but first of all, as far as the taxes, just doing my general calculation of my own house, my property would increase $16.30 for the year. That's it. I don't know how many people, constituents that you actually spoke with in your ward, just a handful, a couple hundred, to get a consensus of that vote. But $16.30 to increase opposed to possibly losing several thousands, tens of thousands of dollars for the city, I think is a great loss for us. I think you guys really need to do some more research on this and reconsider that vote, because that can be very costly. And as far as going back to, taking it back to the vote of the people, at what cost? You're going to want to petition it, but at what cost to the residents to turn around and petition it in 2 years? I don't think you're looking at the full avenue of what it's going to do. This is by not increasing it 1 cent per $100 is going to cost us way more in the long run. As far as for the businesses and the merchants' fees and things of that nature, one of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight, I spoke with Al Kay, who runs the park boards, and asked him how many vacancies that we had available. He said he believes that there are 2, so I have volunteered to take one of those seats on the park board, so long as the mayor will appoint me. I know that can't be done tonight, but maybe at the next meeting, first meeting in October. I would appreciate that so that I can start getting busy and talking to a lot of the businesses, because I know there are a lot of businesses that donate a lot of money to Twin City Days, to Festus, to Bristol City for their events, and their merchants' licenses and fees are more than the city of Pevely's. Our tables are based off the same, but the dollar amounts are less. So as far as them not wanting to donate to us because we increased our merchants' fees, I don't agree with that. Okay, they're paying for Twin Cities Days and for the park, the West City Park, the 4th of July event that they have there. Saint-Gobain pays for their, and Dow pays for their fireworks displays, and they offer them a lot more money than they ever did Pevely. It just takes some people with some spirit and some heart that want to get out here and make Pevely a better place. So, and then the other thing was, as far as the city hall being in a negative fund, it was, but I believe, Greg, you said we're at a positive 133 now for the city hall fund?
I have to look at it again.
Okay. So just to keep in mind that the city hall payment comes out twice a year. So I know the last payment just came out in September, but that money is collected throughout the entire year. So as of right now, after the debts were taken out for 2014, we still have a positive 133. The other thing is, talking about having to spend more money for the NID to cover costs and to not increase the taxes right now is also going to put a larger strain on the city as far as the general fund. So I just think there's a lot of things that you guys really need to take into consideration. I appreciate that you say you talk to your constituents. I'm gonna start going out and talking to some of them too and see what their opinions are. Last thing that I had was I've had several people question the Christmas parade and whether we're going to do it. Al told me today that there was a concern of whether or not to continue it with the city of Herculaneum because of some traffic issues. I've talked to a lot of residents. My children still go to the high school, and I have a lot of friends with kids in the school, and they really do want to continue this parade throughout Herculaneum and Pevely. It does bring a sense of community and pride. So I think that's something that if you're thinking of not doing, to really think about that before you make that decision, because it is something that your constituents do want. I've been talking to several of them. And the last thing I wanted to say is I agree that the traffic issue is a major concern on Main Street. It has to be very difficult for Mr. Goff to get in and out of his driveway. But I think it is a very positive thing for Chief Weeks to meet and greet with those kids. I think it's a great sense of public relations, which we do not have very much of between city and residents. So I think that needs to continue. I just think we need to go back to the drawing board and figure out some new traffic strategies.
Thank you.
Other than that, that's it.
Take them.
Sorry. I just, whenever she asks questions, I have to go look it up. That 133,000 is cumulative over time, because right now we're at a negative 88,954. Over the next 4 months, we'll probably we're close to break even on City Hall. So I just went, that 133 wasn't where, if you look at that page in your financial statements, that wasn't year-to-date information. That's cumulative from the time the City Hall money has been collected. And the second thing I wanted to say is, I forgot to say it earlier, was the format of your reports will change, but what you're gonna see, some of the things we talked about early on, about putting motor fuel tax and transportation sales tax together, moving the street department from the general fund over to that fund, because that can be paid for out of that fund. Moving 911 to general fund into the police department, because it never covers itself. Those things will be done on your September financial statements. And we'll probably need to pass an ordinance on fund structure to create a new fund and eliminate a fund. So we'll need to do that, and it will be retroactive back to January 1, 2014.
Okay, thank you. Motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Second? I'll second. Thank you.
All in favor? Aye.
Where are you going?